The Mentality Show is live now. Let's do this.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back for the Mentality Show. This is our rendition. This is the Mentality Show from the crib. Hopefully this is one of our last shows here at the house. We're actually working on getting back in the studio right now for all of our Mentalians out there who've been used to that, and we've been used to that. We've been playing it safe, taking all the proper precautions, trying not to get sick. But the country's opening back up. Things are opening up slowly. And why should the Mentality Show be any different? So we are getting ready to go back, and we're very proud of that. So we should see you back in the next week or two, I'd say. We're still working all that out with our studio producer and all that. So welcome from our homes. We are happy to have you here today. And I'm your host, Delano. I got Tech C. We got Vato V. We got KC. We got Scully. He should be in there somewhere. And then we have him here on the show. He's sort of our fifth member on the show. We have Dr. Williams, Dr. Christopher Williams here today to discuss some things that are going on in the world. And we can discuss. So we all decided that we were going to sort of try to get away from this whole coronavirus thing, but it's sort of hard to do that with what's going on. One of the main things we decided to discuss today is something that's been on the rise. What is that noise I'm hearing? Okay, there's something that's been on the rise going on right now with the whole coronavirus, and that is domestic violence, gentlemen. That has been on the rise right now. We've talked about that, how relationships are surviving this whole thing, and that's why we have Dr. Christopher Williams here today. So, gentlemen, I'm going to put it out there. Why is domestic violence? The statistics show that it's actually had a 20% rise since the coronavirus. So, why is that, you think? Why do you think people are beating each other up?
They're spending too much time together, getting tired of their asses.
Yeah, that's what it is. In a nutshell.
Logical answer, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's the best answer right there.
Yeah, and it's not just for men beating women. It's not just for men beating women. You have, from what they say, it's gone up with women as well, whooping their men's asses. So, and also child abuse has gone up as well. But they say it's less reported. So my thing is, how do you know it's gone up if it hasn't been as reported? And they say usually it's called a mandated reporter. You know, teachers and those type of people usually are the ones who report child abuse. Parents don't report child abuse on their own. We don't know what's going on in the home, you know. So, let's talk about it, fellas. Let's talk about it. Is that all you have to say about it? Is that people getting tired of each other? Dr. Williams, what do you have to say?
I think it's in a nutshell, that's pretty much it, because obviously you're spending more time with each other. You're talking more, communicating more, and if you didn't have a good relationship before, you know, you're stuck with this individual. You're stuck with your the person that's always beating you up. Obviously, it's gonna go sky high. So that's where we're at right now in the world. You know, with whether it's here in the country or anywhere around the world. You know, people are stuck at home. So what are they gonna do? They can't go anywhere. You know.
Well, so basically, what you're talking. Well, no, when you say so, beating a girl up, it really doesn't even have to do with beating. It deals with frustration. All right, deals with frustration and handling stress. All right, before, when you have avenues to handle that stress, say go out exercising or partying, smoking or whatever, you know, you can do that, and that's the way for you to cope. But since the coronavirus keeps you at home, you don't have those outlets that you had normally. All right, and if you don't know how to deal with that stress through frustration, many times it ends in a type of violence, and it's actually due to something that's called displacement. Because the violence that you met out cannot be reciprocated, because the person that you are violating is less threatening to you. And that's the only reason that you have that type of violence, because you know they can't reciprocate.
You know, they say, I said beat each other up, you know, put their hands on one another is what they say in my neck of the woods. But, you know, there's other forms of abuse as well. There's psychological abuse. There's emotional abuse, not just physical abuse. So, you know, that's been enhanced throughout this whole thing as well. People are around to one another. They're not able to get their frustrations and vent things out. You can only have so much sex, and then it goes to that point where people are actually abusing each other in those type of ways. So
You said you can only have so much sex?
you can only have so much sex. I mean,
coming from your mouth.
once you're done with that, once you're done with that, then you can only you might get tired of the person after you're done. So and then you have people who are just stuck with one another. Who I know some of you here on the show who need to get out of the house, away from their wives sometime, hang out with your boys, hang out on your own. And now you don't really have that option, especially if you're not working as well. So that's another stress you have to deal with.
Agreed.
Go ahead, Vato. I'm sorry.
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. So domestic abuse is on the rise. Another thing, there's another virus out there we need to address as well, gentlemen. Not just the coronavirus. This is a virus that's been existing for centuries in this country, and that's the virus of racism. I want to talk about that. I'm just going to talk off the top of my head, and hopefully you will too, gentlemen. But as we know, there's a video going around that's gone viral with a man in Minnesota who was basically choked, or the officer had his knee on the man's throat. This man was arrested for a non-violent crime, mind you. It was for or he allegedly wrote a bad check. The police were called on him, and all these police come out. They put the man in handcuffs, throw the man to the ground. The man's not really resisting. One of the officers decides to put his knee on the back of the man's throat or his neck for almost 10 minutes. The man is begging. He's even calling for his mama. He's saying, "I can't breathe." Just everything you need to say to someone to communicate to them, look, I cannot, I'm dying here. And then all of a sudden, he just passes out. Yeah, you can see the video right there. The man passes out in the middle of the street. People are begging the police to, at least get your knee off the man's throat and let him breathe and lift him up so he can.
Exactly. Yeah.
He can continue to live. And the officers are getting violent with the onlookers and all that. And so now these officers, the next day, this has never happened before. They actually been fired today, which is within less than 24 hours. They've been fired. The FBI is investigating the whole thing. Thank God they're not letting the actual police department investigate the thing. So the FBI is investigating. They're talking about, criminal charges and all this for these police officers. So let's get on this, fellas. We haven't really talked about this on our show. We kind of joke with each other, and I tease, and I talk about Mexicans and talk about black folks and tease. It's all joking, but let's get serious about this.
One, it makes no sense. These cops are sitting on this guy's neck. He's not fighting back. He's in cuffs. I mean, this looks inhumane to let him sit there with your neck on him.
Yeah, I agree. That's terrible.
You see that? You see that stick of water? That's urine coming from this man's.
I watched. Believe it or not, I've watched that video. I watched that video about 4 or 5 times now, and every time I watch that damn video, it's like it pisses me off because, some of us have worked in law enforcement, and we know the deal when it comes down to working with another individual that's a fuck up. Excuse my language, but he's a fuck up, and now all the other officers that are around him are gonna pay the price because of one idiot. Now the problem with this video is that I had it just pisses me off that officer that is on that gentleman's neck was pretty much smirking. You know what I mean? If you can see it, he was smirking. He was like kind of smiling, like he was like enjoying the fact that he was on his neck. And this individual was pretty much saying, "Hey, get off my neck. I can't breathe. And for them to stay on there for 8 fucking minutes to 10 minutes on this gentleman, it just goes above and beyond what your training is. And as an officer, you have to have common sense in order for you to stop. Like, there's other people that were around there that were telling this guy, "Hey, stop, get the fuck off his neck." One of them was also saying, "I'm an EMT," or one of the females that was there, she's a nurse or something. She was a firefighter, or she did paramedics or something like that. She told that officer to get the hell off his neck, and this other dumbass was over there trying to stop. the person from approaching this other officer, so he's at fault too. As an officer, you have the responsibility to tell your partner, "Hey, homie, that's enough, man. Get the fuck off. You're fucking up. You're gonna get us all in trouble. Get off." You know what I'm saying?
He would have been a hero if he did that. He would have been a hero if he had.
Yeah, I look, in all honesty, like whether it's police, obviously it's police brutality. I don't know if it's racism, you know, but if it is, it is. But that's definitely police brutality, and we just watched a fucking murder. We just watched a murder take place on there, because when this individual urinated on himself, that right there is like, holy shit, like that's it. And to treat him like a fucking animal when the paramedics came over and they just tossed him on the gurney, that was that just pissed me. Honestly, that pissed me off. I'm very passionate. That's fucked up, you know?
Hey, you know, for them to, this man is begging for his life. He's saying he can't breathe, and the officer still keeps his knee on the back of this man's neck with confidence, knowing that, feeling that he can get away with this shit.
Yeah.
That goes to show you that they've done this many, many times before and have gotten away with it. Thankfully, the person didn't die, you know, and it wasn't videotaped, but that goes to show you just that confidence. And like you said, that smirk he had on his face shows you that, you know, yeah, I'm doing this and fuck you, and I'm going to get away with this because I'm the police. And that right there, yeah.
And like I said, like we said, some of us are law enforcement. Just because we have a badge doesn't mean shit. We're still human beings, you know, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of where the fuck you are. You still got to treat people with respect. You know what I mean? And that right there, man, was like, they treated that individual like an animal. And that's not even an animal. Not even an animal is treated like that. That's bad, dude. That's horrible.
Yeah, you saw what happened with that white lady when she jerked her dog. She grabbed his hind legs because a black man was videotaping her. They went and took that dog away because that was considered, you know, animal abuse. This man here had a fucking knee to the back of his throat, dying in the middle of the street. And, you know, these officers, all they did was lose their jobs right now, so far.
Oh, there's an obviously you already know that these idiots are going to be indicted. You know, they're going to be indicted like big time, because that's not right, man. And the fucked up part is that the other officers that were there's another video that surfaced. You know, there's I believe there's 4 officers on this guy. Obviously the one on his neck, and then there's other 3 that are holding him down. That should have been common sense right there. Like, hey, this guy, you could see that they took him from the vehicle that he was arrested from or placed in handcuffs. They took him across the street to the patrol vehicle. Yeah, he resisted a little bit. He dropped on his own. But as an officer, you pick him up and put him in the vehicle. He was not resisting. Okay, he was not resisting after that. There is no reason for these people to put a fucking knee on the back of his neck, unless he's like being combative. Even with that, we already know there shouldn't be a knee behind on the back of his neck.
Well,
he's already in handcuffs.
You got this situation. There's just been a lot of this going on in the past few years. And then it seems like a lot of this is going on in the past couple of weeks with the Ahmaud Arbery, the kid who was, you know, shot for jogging down the street, basically. Yeah. There's another gentleman in Minnesota who was shot. He told the officer, "I have a gun in my glove compartment," had his hands in the air. The officer, he showed, you know, the officer saw the gun in his glove compartment. The officer opened the glove compartment and then says he's got a gun and shoots the man right there in the car. I mean, it's horrible. There's all kinds of situations I can get into regarding black men. Okay? This is black men being attacked, black men being killed. You rarely hear about this with other races. I mean, this happened to a few Hispanic men. It seems like for the most, at least 9 out of 10, it's been black men. And as a black man myself, you know, I see that video and I get enraged, and I say to myself, and even if it wasn't just a black man, just a human being, I say to myself, you know, what can I do? What can I do? Yeah. You feel so small and so insignificant in this whole thing. And and that's what I feel ashamed of. I feel bad that I have that feeling of, you know, that I can't really do anything. I'm helpless in this situation. You know? See,
here's the thing. We're on both sides of the spectrum. And it's like, yeah, as an officer, regardless of the fact, people like that, like we talked about, people like that put us in a bad position that are trying to do our jobs the right way. And that's not good, because then society is going to be like, well, they're just going to look at the you know, they're going to look at the bad, but they're not going to look at the pros, that what we're here to do. And that's to protect and serve, I guess, our community, you know, and that's bad. These lack of common fucking idiots. You know, I cannot stress it enough.
People hate the police unless you need them. People hate the police.
Exactly.
KC, you were going to say something. Looks like you're trying to say something.
All right, Kay.
Yeah, I don't want to get muted, so I'm going to just be patient. I agree with Vata V, because I came here to really bang on cops and call it a race thing, but then I looked up some stats, and it's more white people getting killed by police than blacks. I mean, like last year it was 370 whites versus 235 blacks. This year it's already 42 whites and it's 31 blacks. So what I think is we need to train and recruit these officers better, because it's not I think it's a society problem, man. I mean, it's Bata V said it right. You have some good officers who are the whole force is getting torn down by this dickhead with his knee on his shoulder. And like what you said earlier, that one cop who stood there right there, all he had to do was say something and he would have been a national hero. Yep. But he just sat there and it was a coward. Yep. So to me, that guy, is worse than anything, because
he stood there and let it happen.
He didn't have the heart to stop someone from getting killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of us watched that and we were mortified. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
That's part of the problem.
Wait.
People don't have a heart. That's part of the problem, is that people that are they're getting hired in these forces now, they don't have a heart.
That's what I'm saying. We need to recruit and train better.
Hey guys, can I say something?
Sure.
And you guys may hate me for this, actually. I'm not. And how many of you guys are in law enforcement?
Don't get muted.
Yeah, okay. I could get muted. My brother-in-law is a cop too. All right. So when things like this happen, you know, it's up to the cop. And I'm not saying that they do that correctly every time, to determine what is excessive force and what is fearful of their lives. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's up to them, and it's also up to the other officers to have their officers back. Okay. So when we say here that other officer should have done something, yes, we say that. But in the other officer's defense, if he would go and say something against his fellow officer, he would be ostracized by almost everybody else in the police force.
Yeah, and you know what, Dr. William, I agree with you, but there's a but here. You know, like I said, yeah, there is. If you see that there's something wrong, that you see that this officer is doing something wrong, that officer is trying to take your bread, your money. He's messing up your career. So it's up to us to say something to that individual. Hey, that's enough, man. You got to stop that shit. Whether you're going to call me a bitch or whatever you want to call me, I'm not going to get fired for your stupidity. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. But at the same time, I agree with that. But at the same time, they're probably thinking about everybody else, how they see them.
Yeah.
Look at this right now in LA. There's a riot going on right now. They're attacking police right now in LA.
Of course they are. Hey, so you guys can hear me? I had to switch
Look
to
at
my
some dude
phone.
that got ran over by the police. Look at this right here, live.
Got you.
Look at right here.
I can't see it.
Ran over. Look at this. They're attacking the police. This is live.
I can't see.
Oh shit!
Somebody got ran over. What? Right. Why don't you show us?
Can you get us to that? Can you get us to that?
Hey, he ran over that kid, man, right there.
What channel?
Oh my God!
What channel are you looking at?
Oh shit!
Hey, can someone tell me if you can hear me?
You saying there's
I can hear you, Scully. Scully, we can hear you.
Whatever. Hey, if someone's in the road and they get run over, that's kind of the way it goes down. Hey, I missed a lot, but you guys do realize that there was 3 people on that, right? The guy that died?
Yeah, there was
3 officers. There was one with his knee in the back of the neck. If you watch the other video that had the other angle, there was a guy on his torso and a guy on his legs. 3 of them were.
Yeah, that's excessive.
Yeah, I'm watching. It's actually live. You're right. There's actually going on live right now. There's a protest right there in downtown LA.
Where you
As far as police brutality.
Is it
And
regarding
Carnage?
Black Lives Matter are leading the whole bunch of stuff and all that stuff.
where are you looking at, dude? Like what website?
Channel. It's actually Channel 4. So I'm just watching the news right now. It's on Channel 4. You know.
Sorry about that.
No, it's cool. It's true though.
Yeah, this is
So tell the audience, hey, people, if you're gonna protest, stay out of the fucking road.
Don't get on the road.
No, actually, that cop was getting attacked. They fucked his car up. He had to get out of there.
Oh,
It was
fine.
like a mob scene.
He's golden then.
Yeah.
So is it a riot or is it just a protest?
Another just a protest.
It's a protest that got violent.
Yeah.
But you know, and listen, I understand protests and everything, and people's feelings get hurt, but you can't take it out on other people for something that other people did. You can't do that. That sends the wrong message.
Yeah,
Right?
it's transferring your anger. Yeah, it's transferring.
Yeah, it's displacement.
Yeah, displacement. You know? That's why Martin Luther King, the great Martin Luther King, preached against that. You know, fighting violence with violence. Of course,
it never works. It never works.
Yeah. Well, Malcolm X was a preacher for that. He was, you know, fight fire with fire. But yeah, you're right. I agree. It never works. But then again, I mean, obviously these peaceful protests aren't working either because the police brutality is still going on. So what do you do? What do you do? You know?
Listen, I agree with that, but dealing that with violence, it just makes people do things a little bit more surreptitiously. Okay.
Well, we need better leadership because
surreptitiously. What does that mean?
I mean, you can't have
secretive. It just makes people do it more secretively. That's all.
Okay, sir. We only have bachelor degrees on this show. So.
And you're not getting better leadership, dude. Our leadership just shut down.
There's no reason you have a peaceful protest and then you end up attacking a police officer. That means it's not organized.
No.
And there's opportunists in here. People are looking for a reason to go out there and cause problems.
Yeah.
This is not helping the situation.
People look for reason to be violent, and then that makes the people who are non-violent, it makes them complicit.
So you can't just say let's have. I'm not arguing with you, Doc, but I'm just saying you can't organize something and this happens. That means there's no leadership. It just means there's people out here trying to do bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's not helping.
You're right. Here's the problem. This is what I'm seeing right now. I get it. Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. The people that are leading this protest is Black Lives Matter, and here they are protesting against violence, but then again they're doing violence themselves, so it makes no sense. You know what I mean? There's no, what are you doing? Like, if you want to like not be protesting, but if you're gonna be protesting violence, why are you doing it yourself? It's like it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
V, let me say this. I'm sure the people who Lives Matter, the organizers of that, I'm sure they're not preaching go out there and do some violent shit. It's the people, like KC said, it's the other people who this part of the community that's looking for trouble that decides to ingratiate themselves in that protest, and then they start all this violent stuff, and that's how it's growing from there.
I know I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the face right now, the people that are leading the protest, it says Black Lives Matter. It's like a police officer. If he's off duty, and he beats somebody up, you know, because he's drunk or whatever, they're gonna say a Los Angeles police officer who's off duty, you know, beat somebody up. So in other words, they're trying to put a title behind something. You know what I'm talking about? So in this case, the Black Lives Matter is leading the parade, or is leading the protest. And obviously there's a bunch of bad apples there that are trying to be stupid, and now they're attacking the police for something stupid. So it looks bad on the people that are trying to organize. You know what I'm talking about? They're trying to be organized, but you got idiots like that are fucking it up for everybody else. You know what I mean?
Just like with the police, you got idiots in the police department that's fucking it up.
Same deal.
Same deal.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, people tend to associate people with one another. You know, it's, if they didn't have any, I always say, if there was no such thing as ethnicities, different ethnicities in this world, then people would find something else to separate themselves from one another. You know, like, hey, you can't trust those Cancers or those Scorpios. They're nasty people. Or, you know, those Tauruses, you know, they don't know how to drive. And, you know, everybody's different. Everybody has different attitudes and that type of thing, and
everybody wants to blame. Everybody wants to blame somebody but themselves, man. It's
Right.
always
And that's called diffusion of responsibility.
yeah. See, when it's
No, Delano, you just touched on a real heavy piece that people have lost. A lot of the people that are older, you know, like younger than us, they lost their way, man. They don't get it. They don't get that people are different. People are supposed to be different and live differently and think differently. Everyone nowadays thinks that if we think different or we disagree, then we should hate you and we can't get along. And it's just not true.
Freeway.
None of us have the same fucking
Hopefully that's what LAPD is working on, is that it'll slowly,
Let me,
Did they say Scully? Are they out here?
yeah. Well, I'm gonna piggyback on what you said, but I'm gonna put a little slant on it. All right, because I agree with you with what you say, but
Me? Scully.
there's there's something that's called categorization. All right, and that's what people do. We put people into different categories. All right, and if you don't fit into that category succinctly, then other people, they start to look at you differently. All right, because you are not similar to them, and you are doing something that they're not doing because you're in a different category. They find a way to try to put you in or to assimilate you into that category. And if you resist, that's where the problems lie. And that's where all the young people are doing right now. Too many people have different categories and they're resisting the status quo. And so everybody is getting hurt feelings because nobody is the same.
Yeah, Dr. Williams, they call that that's kind of the reverse of the mob mentality, right?
I call it ignorance.
Okay, it is ignorance. And the mob mentality is, you're right. If one person does it, then everybody does it, regardless of the reason why. It used to be something that's called mass madness, all right? It used to be called mass madness. If one person had a symptom and then somebody had something close to it, then the whole town would descend into this madness. It was called St. Vitus's dance, all right? And that's where all this stuff came from, which led to mass madness or something that's called mass hysteria.
March Madness, that's basketball.
I said March, I said mass madness. All right, or mass hysteria. And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, mass hysteria, yeah. And that's exactly what that police officer did that didn't do anything. Of course, what Vato V said and what KC said and what you said, if you're a police officer, I used to work in law enforcement, and I'm not gonna lie, I worked with some officers that have done some things where I sort of questioned it, and then I questioned myself on whether I want to stop this person from doing what he did, and it made me have a little self-doubt and even wonder if I even know what I'm doing, you know. So, but yeah, that officer that didn't do anything, would you say he was a participant in the mass madness theory that you're talking about?
I wouldn't say he was complicit, all right, but it wasn't mass madness. What you're talking about is groupthink. Okay, he was a participant in the groupthink of like, all right, that's my officer. This is what we're supposed to do. All right, so you know that's what needs to be done.
Yeah,
right?
He was trying to have his back, but it's like, unfortunately, it backfired on him. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, you have to have this. I got your back, but don't do anything stupid to get us all in trouble. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, it's like, hey, like, if we're gonna go in this together, like, I got your back, you got mine, you know. But it's like it's us against them kind of thing. You also have to think. You also have, in those moments, you have a split decision, whether it's gonna be life and death, or what decision are you gonna make that's gonna change your life for the good or for the bad. Like, you know, so this officer there that was just standing over there trying to shoot people away, like, hey, get away, that did not help his case at all. Like, it's just like you were the, like Dr. Williams said, he was participating in it. Like, you're an idiot.
Right, like he was condoning it. Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man.
Think, you know, I would hate to be that guy, and I've never been an officer, and I know quite a few of them, but he's a fucking ball sack. I mean, there was 3 of his buddies are on top of this man, so he's the one, he's not included in the activity, and he's just standing there in front of a fucking video camera. I couldn't imagine how that felt.
Here's the shit. Here's the shit, man. If you're subduing a suspect, okay, and you get them down, whatever, maybe like for 30 seconds, you handcuff them, you pick them up. You're not gonna be on this individual for 8 fucking minutes.
Right.
That's 8 minutes. Like you're
9 minutes.
9 minutes, 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. Fucking 2-3 minutes is a long ass time. Person's gonna die. Like,
So Vato, here's my question. Why do you think they did it?
what? Say that again.
Why do you think they did it? Since you were in law enforcement, why do you think they did it that way?
Because he's an idiot. straight to the point. He's a
Well,
fucking
that's-
idiot. He's
No,
a
no,
stupid.
I didn't.
You don't know what they're gonna say. They could easily say, "Oh, the crowd was a threat to us, so we stayed in position." I mean, you never know what they're gonna say. I mean,
This is what they said. They said that he was resisting them, but the film proved that all he did was fall down.
Yeah.
And then they had to pick him up, and that's all they had to do, pick him up, and then they went and did that shit. He wasn't restraining him. He was just a big, tall dude, and he fell down.
Yeah.
Hey,
Now,
check this
those
out.
cops did that because it's a power high. They had the opportunity to flex, do their thing, but they're not trained well. They're cowards. We need to have stronger people in power positions.
well,
You can't have guys. I'm really mad at that little guy the little cop who sat there and watched the whole damn thing.
The ball sack.
He to me is the worst one, because if I was around any of you guys and you did some shit like that, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's
You know what I'm
the
saying?
society. You got a bunch of pussies with no heart. So these agencies can't hire people that are gonna stand up for shit. They got no
Recruiting
heart.
and training.
And you can't train that shit to people. You cannot train. So I've worked in law enforcement. I've been a senior officer, and you can't train heart. You can't put that in somebody to have the heart to know when things are right and when things are wrong, or whether they're gonna be an officer that's gonna follow people and just stand there and watch. You can't. That comes in your heart. That comes in you. And you can't train that. That means you're a pussy. That means you grew up that way. That means your daddy didn't teach you heart. You got no heart. And that's our society. That ain't just, that's the generation right now. That's the generation right now that are coming up as young adults. They have no heart. None of them.
You know what? I agree. I've been in situations where, like, like an officer is being attacked and somebody else is just watching. Like, I need your help, bro. Like, come here. You know what I mean? And they froze. It's like, you either have it or you don't.
I've been in that situation. I've been attacked, and I was sitting there fighting, and my backup that was there just sat there and didn't do shit. And I was fighting, telling them to spray, and they didn't. So
that's exactly why I left the department, because I had that situation too. I had staff just standing around. I got 2 kids fighting. I'm struggling to bring them both down, and they're just standing around not doing shit. And one of the staff is the supervisor. So that particular department sucks. So I'm not going to say which department it is. But Scully, let me ask you this. You're not the average white guy, but you are the resident white guy on this show.
Hey, yeah, you don't get any whiter than me. I've been white my whole life.
white is red.
So white you're red, I always say. So let me ask you this. As a white man, with all this shit going on in the news and in the media, and black men are, police brutality, Black Lives Matter, just all this stuff, white guilt and everything. How do you feel? And please give me your honest answer on this.
I always do.
Yes, you do. That's why I'm asking you. How do you feel when you're around black men? Do you feel white guilt? Does it hurt you that my fellow white man is doing this to you people? Or does it even bother you? What's your mentality regarding all this stuff?
I don't really see color, man. I don't give a fuck what you look like. You're either a good person or you're not. And that's the way I grew up, man. I was born and raised in Southern California, and people don't do that, man. Like I said, I've been white my whole life, man. And I'll be honest, 48 fucking years, okay, people? I'm old. And I have a lot of white fucking friends. I don't know one of them that would have fucking been in that situation. And you know what really bugged me about it? Mm-hmm. The fact that it went on for 8 to 10 fucking minutes and nobody was talking. There wasn't a struggle. The police didn't converse between each other. They didn't, nothing. They just sat there with this weird fucking look on their face.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck were they doing? So anyways, I kind of got off on a little rant there, but yeah, no, I don't see any of that stuff. You're either a shitty person or you're not, man. And
I agree, man.
Meanwhile, guys losing.
And everyone I know is the same way. We make jokes about us. We all do. Small dicks, little dicks, pale people, fucking whatever, black people, brown people, purple people. We all make jokes, and that's cool. As long as you don't get too personal. And no, I don't like walk into a city somewhere and all of a sudden I'm the only white guy, which I've lived in that condition before. That doesn't bother me. If you want to be a dick, that's a game changer. I don't see it, man.
So you don't feel any type of white guilt or anything? This term. As a matter of fact, I want to ask Dr. Williams this.
See, that pisses me off, though. Now that's twice. White guilt. I don't even know what that is.
Dr. Williams, can you explain what white guilt is? That's
fake. It's something that fucking stupid people make up, dude. Ignorant ass piece of shit people think that there should be some sort of white fucking guilt. How about you man the fuck up and fucking get a life? That's my white guilt rant.
Talking to you.
There you go.
Are you talking to me or are you talking to society still?
Anyone who thinks that is a real thing, that any fucking person, because they have light skin, because I'm pigment impaired, that I should feel some sort of guilt.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, there's a term out there called white guilt. I don't know. I'm not white. How am I going to have white guilt?
You're pretty white for a black guy. Let me tell you.
Oh, wow.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do I need to show you? Do I need to show you how white I am? All right. Anyway, so there is a term out there called white guilt. If I had to define it, I would say it's a white person feeling guilty about the way certain races have been treated in their country or around them. I guess
that's exactly the definition of it. That is right.
Right. Okay. So Scully, don't act like you haven't heard that term or you've never heard.
I've heard the term. I just don't agree with it. I mean, I've never experienced it.
I'm not saying you have it or people should have it. I'm just saying it exists. It's out there.
It does exist. It does exist because they feel bad for the
mad at me. Scully get mad at me. I'm just a messenger, man.
Oh no, I'm not mad at you. I was talking to anyone who had that opinion or wants to throw that term on me.
Tech said you were talking to me.
Whatever.
Shit, man, that's all.
Oh,
what do we have here?
Looking at more protesters.
Is this the protest is this going on in LA right now?
Downtown, yeah, right there by the jail right there.
This thing is gonna get bigger and bigger. It's gonna get bigger.
Why the fuck are they protesting here? They should protest over there in Minnesota, man. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying. It should be protesting in Minnesota. I'm like, this is an
opportunist. Opportunist.
We did this in the past, and you know what happens is the military comes in.
Yeah.
They don't want these riots to get crazy like they did back in the day.
You know why this is happening here? Exactly the reason that the feeling I felt this morning when I saw this man getting killed on video. What can I do about this? So these are people who've had the same feeling besides the troublemakers, and they're gathering with other people who feel the same way. What can we do about this? How can we make our word heard? You know.
Here's my question. And
isn't that the federal?
This is a legitimate question. Is this racism or is this police brutality? Which one is it in this video? I'm just talking about this video. Now I'm not talking about anything else. Is it racism? Or is it racism or is it police brutality? What is it?
I would go with police brutality. We can't say, there's racism because we don't really know circumstances beforehand or what happened. So
that's my I agree. I personally think that's if it is a racism, it didn't show anything about that other than obviously the officer was white and the individual was African American. But this is police brutality to the max. That man was murdered. That man was murdered. I agree with that. It was not a mistake. He was killed.
I think it was racism too.
I agree. I agree, but I can tell you that it wasn't racism because there was 4 officers and I believe only one of them was white.
Yeah, and that was him.
Okay.
But there was 3 people on him. I mean, and I'm not sticking up for them. I'm saying they're all equally responsible for it. So I don't think it was a white thing. And I hate the fact that the news puts that. Oh, white officer kills black man. Okay, why did you have to put it that way, you dickheads?
Well, actually,
racism is not white man.
Well, listen, they do that for sensationalism, obviously, because then they're going to get more people to come to their website or read their newspaper. Yeah, it's for sensationalism. and it's also just reporting what they saw. It doesn't report the context, all right? It only supports the superficiality of the incident, which was a white person, because that's all they wanted to show you.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
didn't show you the whole
Right.
picture.
Putting his knee on the neck of a black man, and the black man saying, "I can't do it." That's what they want to show you. They want to show it from your perspective. All right? And that's what makes it racist.
Hey, but hold on though. That other officer was Asian. That officer was Asian. He stopped him.
Yeah, the one that was just looking around was Asian.
Okay, listen. Well, racism is not just white against black. There's all kinds of different races that are.
I get it. I get it.
You know, and the fact that there could have been a black cop there. Let me ask you: had there been a black cop there?
That was my question.
One of those police officers there. Would you ask that question, V, whether this is police brutality or racism?
No. Okay. I was gonna ask that question. Now my thing is, if that officer would have been black, that had his knee on that individual, how would that be viewed? As police brutality? Does that change the dynamic?
My answer to that is a black officer wouldn't do that.
A black officer would not do that.
A black officer would not do some shit like that to another black man. That's my thing.
I'm sorry, but I have to. I've
never heard of a story out there of a black officer doing that to anybody.
It has not been filmed yet. It has
not
been filmed yet.
I haven't heard of any story out there like that.
It has not been filmed yet.
My name is Franklin. It's Delano, sir. It's Delano.
Delano.
It has not been filmed yet. Let's not be ignorant.
So you know, your guy, you know that's happened.
What?
Even if it wasn't filmed, it would have been out there in the media somewhere.
That's not true.
I disagree.
Black officer put his knee on the back of another person's neck, not just white, not just another black guy, but a white guy too.
No.
Can I chime in on this? I'm agreeing with you, Vato. I'm agreeing with you. If it was, I think that there has been black officers who have subdued other black perpetrators, so to speak, in ways of excessive force.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Haven't been filmed yet.
I'm not saying excessive force. I'm saying to the point of murdering somebody. Have you ever heard of a black officer being arrested or being jailed or whatnot for killing another human being in that type of way? I know there's excessive force that's good.
Yes.
Okay,
I'll show you that video.
Story. Vato V, I asked you this earlier. I asked you to give me that story. Find me a story of a black officer.
Did you not go on a rant? Did you not go on a rant earlier? And then we have a conversation. I told you, you're not giving me a chance to send it to you. And Ellie, listen. And Ellie, listen. 5 hours ago. Listen. LAPD officer, African-American police officer, shot and killed a homeless man in Benny.
That's still different, sir. I'm not talking about.
What is the difference? He shot and killed him.
Okay, I'm talking about a black man putting his foot, physically subduing somebody, choking them to death with your hands. It's a difference between shooting somebody, which is bad, and choking and killing somebody with your bare hands or your bare knees.
Murder is murder. What are you talking about?
He still died. He still shot and killed somebody.
I'm not saying, okay, I know murder is murder. I know
you're being overly specific right now.
No, I'm being specific. I'm being specific. Specifically tell me specifically of a black man that's killed another human being, especially another black man, with his bare hands, officer, with his bare hands or his knees to the back of
their
neck.
Like I told you. And listen, in the past,
that story,
listen, in the past or right now, it doesn't matter. It has happened. It's happened before.
If it's happened, it would have been in the media.
Dude, you're like,
they don't just let somebody get away with that. And it's not
it's happened.
Officer killing somebody with their knee in the back of their neck or with their bare hands, that would have been in the media. It would be somewhere. Google it.
Well,
Google it.
Delano, okay, that specific case of the knee in the back, okay, it's going to be hard to find that one.
Yep,
but there's been plenty of black officers who have abused their power and killed people.
Yep.
So you're looking for that specific one. Okay, we can't find it. We're not going to find it.
I'm talking about specifically where somebody was killed without a gun. An officer killed another person without a gun. Okay, let's put it that way. with his very
regardless of
I can ask Google.
Listen, regardless of the
already
fact,
done it.
regardless of the fact, and you've been in law enforcement, regardless of the fact, whether you as an officer are black, white, purple, brown, it doesn't make a difference. There have been officers out there that have abused their power, okay? Whether they put the knee in the back of their neck or whatever, that have abused their power, you know, to their same race or other races, and they have killed other people. You know what I mean? So we're not gonna say that it never happens, because it has happened.
Look at there.
Thought of one.
See the story.
I just thought of one. Nakatomi Plaza.
He's talking Die Hard.
Die Hard? What's this? Die Hard.
Movie Die Hard.
Oh,
Die Harder.
The movie. Oh, I never saw.
I love that guy, especially at the end when he fires that gun and blasts that fool.
There you go.
Oh, they didn't show it. See him laying down?
So yeah, you know, it's sad that that's going on. It's sad this is going on in our country. We've all given our opinion on this. We obviously all have certain views and opinions regarding this whole thing, but you know, just treat other people the way you want to be treated, no matter who they are. We're all human beings. Take care of each other. That's you know, do your job. If you're a police officer, do your job. You know, but I understand, as somebody who worked in law enforcement, I understand sometimes you have to make split-second decisions. Split-second decisions. This was not a split-second decision.
Was not.
9-minute, fucking 10-minute decision. You had to, you know, with the time you had to make your decision.
Yeah, I think that's actually going to be the big issue. You can't fight that. On a lot of these, we can come up with scenarios. What if this? What if that? What about the missing tape? Because there's missing video from that also, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line is there's nothing that can condone you sitting on a human being. 3 people, 3 grown men sitting on another human being for that fucking long, dude.
In handcuffs. He's subdued.
And he's handcuffed, yes.
He's trained, right. I mean,
2 of those guys could have got him in the car.
Yeah.
Actually, all the videos out now, Todd. They got all angles out now, Todd.
There it is. Delano. There it is, Delano. Read that.
This guy's not black. This guy.
Yeah, I watched all those videos, Casey.
This guy's not black. This guy looks like KC without a beard, man.
No, I wasn't sure if he was, this guy. He's obviously not black.
Are you hiding out?
He wasn't planning on voting for Biden, so he's obviously not black.
You're a veteran.
He's gonna say, Delano's gonna say that he's just a tan white guy.
I have to get the details of this story. Read to it.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of shit like that, bro, in this world, man, where a lot of officers, black officer against a black suspect, where that has happened. We're not gonna be ignorant about that either. You know, it's
happening way more with other officers. That's all I'm saying. It seems to be happening.
No. You're trying to say there has to be a specific. You said specifics. There are officers out there, like you see right there, that shit has happened.
I'm sure there are going to be some exceptions, 1 or 2. But it seems, give me 1 or 2 out of the fucking 50 or 60 or 100 that's happening with other races. That's all I'm saying. Okay, there may be some exceptions.
Casey just told you that a lot more white people have gotten killed.
That's because there's a lot more white people in the world. There's only 10% black people in the United States. I mean, so more white people that are. I'll make the challenge KC on that as well. It's more white people being. Yeah, there's more white people in the United States. There's only 10% black people. Which
what's the percentage that Hispanics make up?
Well, if they don't build that border, it's going to be a whole lot more. But
they won't send in the census.
What?
Talk to your boy Trump.
The Hispanics won't send in the census. But hey, you know what? I think it goes for every race. Like white on white, black on black, Hispanic on Hispanic. There's more murders and deaths within races than there are against races. And you can look that up.
That is very, very true.
Speaking of that,
very true.
It is time for the moment of the week. It's a very popular segment on the show. He sort of got into it a little bit. We're going to let him get into it more. It is your moment, Mr. Scully. It is time for our Scully Red Rant. You got the floor, sir.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like we've been ranting the whole time. And I feel like other people, including Delano, took my fucking rant. I can't even fucking believe it. You know what though? You know what's really fucking pissing me off right now is the fact that there's people out there that won't do their fucking homework. Dude, does anyone, hopefully you guys know this. If you don't, just lie to me, please, and go look it up afterwards. At the beginning of the month, the CDC came out and said that that stupid fucking virus people have been talking about isn't even strong enough to live on surfaces. Do you get that? People wearing gloves, hand sanitizer, all this shit, and it isn't even able to live on a fucking surface.
I love that part right there. I love that part right there. You actually look like a little red coronavirus man.
Yeah, and I love that. I actually love that rant, but it is true. If you go on the CDC's website, dude, I'll send you guys the link, dude. It doesn't even survive on fucking surfaces.
Yeah, I read that as well.
Yeah, but it's still killing people.
Hey, California has California reached its 100,000th case of coronavirus, and we're the fourth state to do so.
Not California, America. America.
No, listen. California has 100,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus. There's 100 now, in the entire.
Our numbers went up today.
United States, in the United States,
none of that matters.
In the United States, we have 100,000 people that died already because of the virus. 100,000.
So, Casey, you said the numbers have gone up since they've opened the country?
Yeah, for California. And we were doing the best. Now we're going back up.
Yeah.
They can't get those tests back fast enough, dude. That's false.
It's just false. There's no cure in sight. There's no cure in sight, right?
I actually had someone in our office that has a family member took that test. One, they got denied for the test. They had to run all over Southern California looking to get the test. And then it took 2 weeks to get it back. So they can't say a few days after they open some shit up that's why. And it doesn't matter anyway. It's a virus. Have people forgotten that it's a virus? Dude, what happens with viruses? You have to get them. Your body has to fight them. It builds antibodies. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't hide from it. You're just going to weaken your immune system. This is proven fact. 60% of the deaths came straight out of fucking nursing homes. And the majority of the rest of them are old and unhealthy people. You should not be quarantining healthy fucking people. Get your asses to work, people. Come on, wake up. Do your homework.
Scully, let me say this. This goes to your point here. Some of these deaths that they were reporting regarding coronavirus, they say is not even linked to coronavirus. Like, let's say you have a heart attack and you go to the hospital and you die of that heart attack, but you happen to test positive for coronavirus, they're going to say that you are someone that passed away because of coronavirus. So those numbers,
right? They want the numbers to be high.
How about if you die? How about if you die? Your last name is Corona.
That's true. Like they could be like, hey, Scully has high blood pressure and he gets fired up sometimes, and he had a heart attack, but we found the Corona on him, and even though he didn't have symptoms, he was asymptomatic. He died of COVID-19.
How about if you die, your last name is Corona, and you're drinking a Corona, and then you die of coronavirus?
Well, hey, what if you die in the city of Corona? I mean, is that...
There you go.
That's fucked up. They need to change their name, dude. I don't even want to go there anymore.
When you think about it, I mean, viruses don't want to kill people because a virus is a host.
Yeah, that's true.
A virus wants to, it's parasitic. It wants to replicate and stay alive. So you can't say blame the virus. The virus wants to do whatever it can to stay alive.
So
it's horny. I get what you're saying. It's horny too.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yes. It's doing whatever it can to stay alive. The fact that the body can't manage it, all right, is the reason that we tend to die. All right, so it's not the virus. The virus's purpose is not to kill; it's to replicate.
People are saying
killing is a byproduct.
People are saying the virus, like the virus is just one thing. You know, the virus, it's a virus, so it multiplies. It's in all the people who end up obtaining the virus. People are just talking like the virus is just one entity, one thing that's just going around killing people like the Grim Reaper. You know, it's so this whole virus thing or whatever. There's no cure in sight, or they're talking about different cures. They're saying it's about 18 months away, and they're saying regarding the opening up of different businesses in parts of the country, if this thing blows up, if the virus gets worse, they're going to shut it down again, which is going to be horrible for the.
There's going to be a second wave.
There's going to be a second wave.
There's definitely going to be a second wave.
There will.
This virus.
They don't have a cure for a virus.
The virus
is no cure for a virus. There never will be.
Nope. The virus is like math. It divides, multiplies, adds, and subtracts. So there you go, man.
Yeah.
It's like the flu. It's going to be around, man. I mean,
Yep.
if we're all in agreement it's a real thing, then you have to understand that it's just like the flu and any other virus. It's always going to be around. There's no cure.
You're gonna have to get a corona shot instead of a flu shot. You have to get a corona
Instead of a flu shot. Yeah, I'm sure everyone will go out and enjoy the fuck out of that. I'll just have another beer. Thank you.
Yeah, it's gonna be just like the flu. It's gonna be, I'm telling you, by the time we reach our 60s, 70s, 80s, we're fucked because the flu is not kind to old people. Neither is this coronavirus if it's still around. And, you know, even if you have to get a shot, it's still going to be around. So, you know, gentlemen, let's enjoy. These are the best years of our lives right now. Do you know anybody personally who has or who has been affected by the coronavirus? Is there anybody, friends, family, cousins?
I do.
You do, V?
Yeah. a couple of coworkers. As a matter of fact, one of my buddies gave me a call not that long ago. He said he tested positive. He was asymptomatic. He didn't feel anything. He went back to the doctor. Like, look, man, I didn't feel anything, dude. Like, they said that I had the virus. And then all of a sudden, like, I went back. I didn't feel anything. I had no cough, no fever, no nothing. I went back to the doctor. They tested me again. He asked him to test him. He's like, my doctor said, I don't want to test you. He went to another facility to get tested. And they said that he was negative. And just so he can see if it was right or wrong, he went again somewhere else so he can get tested again. He tested negative twice. They told him he was positive one time, and then he was negative twice. So he's like,
that positive report to get off of work for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what he did. They gave him 2 weeks off. But then afterwards, he went to go check, and they said he just wanted to make sure that he wanted to make sure that if he had it, he wanted to make sure. So double check. When he went back to check, he said he didn't have it. They told him that he didn't have it. He went somewhere else. But his doctor originally said, I don't want to test you again. I don't want to test you because you already have it. It's like, what the fuck? Are you serious? So then he went to another facility, another doctor, some urgent care. They tested him. He came out negative, man. Like, what? He's like, what the fuck? What's going on here? So just to make sure, he went to somewhere else. And then he said that's what they told him, that he was negative. Like,
this is the scary thing about this virus. It affects people differently. Like the flu, you get the flu, you know you got the flu. You got the flu symptoms. It kind of knocks everybody out the same way usually. Yeah. You know, but this virus,
different.
One person could have just a cough or two for a couple of days, and another person could die of it. You know, and they could have the same body type, no underlying issues, same age. Yeah. So that's another thing that's scary about this virus as well. They're still trying to learn. It's a tricky son of a bitch, this virus, man.
I don't think it's scary, man. It's just like the flu. It's killing old and unhealthy people, man. They're just clearing out people on fucking Social Security.
No, it's killing people who are healthy.
Not really. I mean, really, not really. The majority of it is people that are old and have underlying problems.
Yeah, the majority, but it's still killing healthy people.
And I'm not trying to argue with you guys, but I spend way too much time going down rabbit holes, digging into the statistics of this. And it's not even healthy for me to keep doing this. It's just fucking retarded. Like if you're
gonna die of stress before you die of the coronavirus.
Yes. Because
how deep did you dig in? How deep did you dig into this, Scully?
Balls deep.
I was waiting for it.
Mr. K. Casey missed it.
Casey.
I didn't miss it. I just didn't want to be a part of it because it always happens to me. I'm disgusted by that balls deep thing because I always say it.
Did you say it last night with your tranny? Did you say it with your tranny last night?
Whoa. Mute him. I want him muted now.
I'm joking.
Hey, I'm allowed to have a rant now because it's Scully's red rant.
Look at he's mad. You made me.
Hey, what's up? I like the new names. I like the Metro. I like the Mad Face.
I don't like that shit. Take that. What did you put Doughboy, Pillsbury Doughboy for your song?
Wait, you need a Casey.
No. Who put Metro on me? That was Tech C that did that shit. That wasn't Casey that did that. That was Tech C.
Tech C doesn't know how to do that. Come on.
Unmute Casey.
How about talk now, Delano?
I think it was Dr. Williams.
You gotta unmute Casey, man.
It was me.
He's not muted. I didn't. Oh, he did. He muted himself.
I didn't touch that shit.
Only time we mute you, Casey, is when you get on the telephone. You making phone calls during the show. You calling your pimp, man. That's the only time we mute you. So,
you fucking.
What? Hey, so
you know what? I'm about tired of your shit, Delano.
Hey, I'm pissing. Apparently, I'm pissing everybody off today, man. I'm pissing everybody.
In his neck.
Today? Only today?
Hey, that's what I do. So before we end this thing, is there any last words? Do we have a Vato V rant? Do we have a KC rant? A Tech C rant? He never rants. Do we have a Dr. Williams rant? You got like 30 seconds, gentlemen.
Hey, you know what? I gotta say this, man. Like,
we've heard enough.
That shit is fucking pissing me off. With those fuckers fucked it up for every officer out there, man. They just fucked it up, and this shit's gonna blow up. Watch, this shit's gonna blow up. As you can see already, we're gonna have some kind of fucking riot, man. This is gonna blow the fuck up. I'm
sorry to interrupt. During that protest that's going on in LA, that video you showed us, Tech C, is anybody wearing masks?
Yeah,
nope.
They are. Some of them are.
Yeah, some of them are.
Hey, okay. I see a lot of white people in there throwing down for Scully.
They got the American flag upside down over there.
Oh, that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, they just set it on fire.
See?
Oh, no, someone's going to get beat with that flag. Watch. Oh, butt crack.
Oh, no, you're not supposed to let the flag touch the ground. That's
all over the ground now. What happened?
I saw butt crack.
Somebody was trying to burn the flag, and that guy took it away.
Yeah, somebody picked it up and walked away with it, yeah.
He's like, don't fucking do that shit. What the fuck does the flag got to do with that shit?
You can't be burning the flag. That's too much, man. I mean, you know, I'm American, but I'm African American, but I'm American, you know?
Hey, that's all that matters.
Potato head American.
Huh?
So you're potato head American.
Burn a flag is a sign of civil disobedience.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's true. So we got a lot of shit going on in our country right now. I mean, this is one of the last things we need, and it's unfortunate timing. It's never good timing on this, but it's just horrible right now. So, fellas, I just want to say to
Care
you,
not cops. What does that even fucking mean?
I know. Care not cops.
Hey guys, well, I just want to say,
anarchy burger, hold the government.
Wow, this is. I want to watch this. Okay, fellas, take care of yourself. Take care of your families. Take care of each other. All of our mentalians out there. We'll be back in the studio next week.
Hey, we gonna be in the studio next week or what? Let's talk to people about this.
That's what I was just about to say before I was rudely interrupted there. We are working on being back in the studio either next week or it should be next week. Is that right, gentlemen? Are we ready to go back to the studio next Wednesday?
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
We shall.
Yeah, let me know. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. But hey, we got to figure out the camera too. And if whoever's left out there watching this, give us some feedback. I've gotten a lot of feedback. They like this because they can see our faces and our expressions. And apparently you can't see that very well on our normal feed. So maybe we can do a wide angle or zoom in a bit when we get in the studio. I don't know.
Well, we talked about that, different camera angles and trying to work that out or whatnot. So yeah, we're working on that in the future as well. But we definitely need to get back in the studio because that's our home, fellas. That's how we do it. That's how we started, and that's a lot better than this shit right here. So
Casey's just sitting there without us.
Yeah, well, he does that on the show anyway at the studio too. So that's it, fellas.
Look at his mad face.
Mad face. Dr. Williams, thank you for joining us again so much. Thanks for taking your time out. We're going to have you back as always, especially when we talk about serious issues. Thank you so much. From Delano, Vato V, Scully, Mad Face KC, Pillsbury Doughboy Tech C. We are so happy to have you here this week, folks. We will see you next week. Remember, in life, you're good. With our help,
you could be best.
Shout out to Delano for the 2020 Masturbation Championship. Good job, baby.
Yeah, boy. Look, Ma, no hands. I can do that shit with no hands, too.
Hey, gentlemen, have a good week, man.
Hey, thanks, Dr. Williams. Good to see you again. Thanks for putting up with our chaos, bro.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Dr. Williams, Have a good one, sir.
Face condoms. Wear your face condoms.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah, face condoms.
Hold on.
Don't make me start dancing. What's Casey doing?